In South Korea, negotiators at UN talks over the world's first treaty to curb plastic pollution are deeply divided. Issues creating roadblocks, including limiting new manufacturing of plastic and the potential phasing out of some chemicals. Previous talks have failed, and there are fears they could fail once again. Joining us now to discuss this is Erin Simon, the Vice President and Head of Plastic Waste and Business for the World Wildlife Fund in the U.S. Great to have you with us, Erin. In your view, how bad is this global problem of plastic pollution? From what I understand, plastic cannot be recycled, so we're stuck with the stuff.
The problem of plastic pollution is quite large, right? And it's really prevalent for and visible to everyone. We find plastic pollution in our city sidewalks, in our parks. It's everywhere from the depths of the Mariana Trench to the top of Mount Everest. And that's because we are releasing about a dump truck of plastic pollution into our ecosystems every minute of every day. And at this point, we are on track to triple that by 2040 if we don't do anything. So it's really important that the global leaders come together and come up with a really strong agreement that actually helps us to end plastic pollution.
But with a problem that big, I think we all have to take a bit of ownership in the fact that we all purchase plastics, use plastics in our daily lives. And so in many ways, we're all part of the problem. So what is the solution, and how can this meeting get to that?
I think the key to solving for plastic pollution is everybody doing their part, but it's beyond that. It's about coordinating those approaches at a global level. The reason you have a treaty is when the world faces a problem that no individual country can solve on its own. And so they decide that they need to come to agreement for a plan to move forward. And so the challenges in these negotiations are around really agreeing on what are those rules that we're all going to follow. And so and that will be rules that companies follow, that will be rules that these governments follows, and therefore it'll make it easier for individuals, every one of us who's trying to recycle, who's trying to reuse, to be able to do that in a way that they are ultimately successful instead of constantly feeling disappointed by the broken system.
Rules for companies to follow does not sound like the type of policies the Trump administration will bring in, since he's known for ripping up red tape. How do you expect that to change U.S. policy toward this problem?
Well, remember, this is a global treaty, so it's about everybody and not just the U.S. And so, yes, countries do have to commit to ratify this treaty, meaning like they need to commit to do it. And so whether or not the United States will actually do that under Trump's administration is still to be determined. That said, over 250 of the world's multinational companies are already here and negotiating, not necessarily negotiating, apologies, but they are advocating for a treaty that creates these consistent rules. Treaty that says, do not use these chemicals, do not use these products, and design everything the same way. It really de-risks the system for these companies. And so I think that you will see companies still take action even in the absence of a ratification by the United States, if that happens.
Well, Erin Simon, we appreciate you connecting with us from Busan, South Korea, to discuss this important topic. Thanks for your time.